Test, test. Good morning, everyone. I hereby convene the February 5th, 2024 hearing of the Santa Barbara County Zoning Administrator. My name is Linda Liu, and I'll be the Zoning Administrator for today's hearing, and Mr. Jonathan Martin will be clerking. This hearing will be conducted under the provisions of the Ralph M. Brown Act, Open Meeting Law, as well as the provisions of California Planning Law and the Santa Barbara County Code. We have one item on today's agenda, and I estimate this meeting will go relatively quickly. The clerk will read the item into the record, and I will announce any ex parte communications. I will then get comments from the case planner, followed by the applicant or the applicant's agent, and then I will get comments from the public. Anyone who wishes to testify should submit a speaker slip, or if testifying remotely, should use the raise hand feature. And when testifying, please state your name when it is your turn to speak. Right, the first portion of our agenda is for the general public comment. This period gives the public an opportunity to comment on matters that are not on today's agenda. Mr. Martin, do we have any requests to speak for that?
No, we have received no requests to speak on any matter for today's agenda.
All right, thank you very much. And I think we are ready to move on.
Okay. The first item, the following is a hearing on request of Dominique Lacerte, property owner, to consider case number 22 CDH-00000-00015 and to determine the project is exempt pursuant to section 15303, new construction and conversion of small structures of the state guidelines for implementation of the California Environmental Quality Act.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. I do not have any ex parte communications to announce. Ms. Brown, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Liu. My name is Willow Brown, and I am the planner for the Lacerte Garage Conversion Project. The project was last heard on March 20th, 2023, when the applicant requested that the item be dropped from the agenda to allow time to submit revised plans addressing issues in a comment letter submitted by Beth Collins. A memo dated January 24th, 2024 was submitted addressing those comments. I will go over the proposed project and the staff memo responding to the comments. The subject property is a 0.24 acre parcel zoned 7R1 and shown as assessor's parcel number 5239, located at 2311 Finney Street in the Summerlin Community Plan Area, 1st Supervisorial District. The project before you today is for a coastal development permit to allow for the conversion of the existing 492 square foot attached garage into residential space. The parking would be replaced in the existing driveway. As proposed and as conditioned, the project is consistent with the county comprehensive plan, including the Summerlin Community Plan and Coastal Land Use Plan, and Article 2, the Coastal Zoning Ordinance. The project is exempt from environmental review under the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to CEQA Guidelines Section 15303. Section 15303 exempts the conversion of existing small structures from one use to another where only minor modifications are made in the exterior of the structure. This exemption applies to the proposed project because the project consists of the conversion of an existing garage to residential space where the size, bulk, and scale of the structure remain the same. A comment letter dated February 23rd, 2023 was submitted on behalf of the McKays, owners of 2305 Finney Street. The applicant submitted revised plans on January 19th, 2024 addressing the comments, and staff submitted a memo dated January 24th, 2024 in response to the comments. The first issue raised in the comment letter is that there is information missing from the plans, and that if there are fences exceeding 8 feet in height in the setback, they require a permit. The revised plans added the location and width of Finney Street, vehicle maneuvering dimensions, setbacks, dimensions of the garage, all elevations, and the development exclusion area. The existing fence adjacent to the garage within the setback previously exceeded 8 feet in height, but has since been lowered to 8 feet, which was confirmed by a county building inspector. The second issue raised is that the footprint of the deck was removed from the site plan, which may be in the setback and affect the interior setback lines. The footprint of the deck does encroach into the setback, however, it was approved in this configuration. Additionally, if the setback from the eastern property line were increased, the single-family dwelling would be within the setback. There is no additional square footage proposed as part of the project. The third issue raised is the project plans may be inconsistent with the original CDP approved for the house from 1985. The conditions from the original CDP are regarding building standards, and the garage conversion will be reviewed by Building and Safety and required to meet today's energy standards. The final issue raised is that design review was not required for the project. Design review was not required for the project under Article 2, Section 35-184.3, which exempts exterior alterations determined to be minor by the director. The proposed exterior alterations consist of only door and window changes and are considered minor and exempt from Board of Architectural Review approval. Staff recommends that you make the required findings for approval included in Attachment A to the staff report, determine that the project is exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA Section 15303, and grant approval of the project subject to the conditions included as Attachment B to the staff report. This concludes staff's presentation. Staff and the applicant are available to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Brown. Ms. Wold, I believe you're the agent on this project.
Yes, that's right.
Do you have anything to add to the presentation or any comments, additional comments you would like to make?
No, just that we've read the staff report, the findings and the conditions of approval, and we agree with staff's recommendation that we meet all the findings and that the project should be approved.
And you've reviewed the staff memo that Ms. Brown prepared for this
Yes.
hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Martin, I see that we have one request to speak.
Yes, give me 1 second. I'll allow her to speak. Go ahead, Sarah, your permission to speak.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Sarah Bronstad, and I work with Beth Collins at Brownstein Hyatt Farber Schreck. And we submitted a letter on Thursday of last week, and I understand due to hearing support, staff absence, I don't think that letter got to you, Ms. Liu, until Friday, almost at the end of the day. So I'm not sure if you all have had a chance to review it, but we have, we appreciate all of the plan revisions that incorporated the information that was missing. But we still have two concerns. One is that there is a Montecito water main line that runs directly through the project. And there is a Montecito Water District easement along the northern property line that is not shown. And it was shown on the 1985 plans when the project was initially built. And so it's unclear why it's not shown now. And it's also, I mean, we're concerned if there is development adjacent or directly above that water main that it's going to obviously impact the whole neighborhood potentially in terms of impacts to that water line. So that was one issue. The other was that it appears that the deck has been modified. And when we say modified, we mean increased in height. And if you look at exhibit, I believe it was C on the letter that Beth submitted, it shows the approved plans versus the existing plans. And it looks like there has been some modifications, including elevating not only the deck to be above 30 inches, but also the hot tub or the spa, all of which are in an interior setback. And obviously the intent of an interior setback is to protect the privacy of the neighbors, and to have these elevated improvements in the setback goes against, I think, the intent of the ordinance, and it's also unfair to the neighboring property owners. And if there was a previous mistake that was overlooked before, I still challenge that, because it looks like even from what was approved has changed. And so therefore planning has not seen the deck in its current configuration at the height of its configuration. And even if it was accidentally approved in a setback before, if you've elevated it since, that this is a new improvement. And it's just not fair to the neighboring property. Also, on the condition about the 1985 special conditions that were required, which is for noise, to abate any potential noise issue, there's supposed to be certain building materials used within the building. And I understand Ms. Brown said that, building department will ensure today's codes are enforced, but also it seems only right that the structures within this area are complying with the special conditions, and the intent of which was to help vibration and noise protection for the structures around it. And then I'm also just going to make a point that since this project received an approval in 1985 to build, this house has been modified several times and somehow seems to always be exempt from design review. And in this case, if we're only talking about a couple windows and a couple doors and there's no lighting fixtures, okay, but I'm just going to point out that every single window in this place has been changed and modified. And so it just feels like there's a special set of rules applying to this particular property, more, and much more lenient so than the remaining neighborhood. Okay, thank you. That concludes my comments.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bronsted. I did receive your comment letter. Thank you very much. And Ms. Brown, I believe you also received a copy of the comment letter.
Yes, I did.
And can you address the two issues that were brought up in the comment letter? And then I'll ask you separately about the BAR requirement.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Liu. The Montecito Water District reviewed the plans and stated they do not have any concerns regarding the garage conversion project interfering with their water main or easement. And then the deck and hot tub both received final building inspection. There's no additional square footage proposed, and the development will not be located any closer to a setback. Additionally, the parking spaces are not located closer to the eastern property line setback than the existing residence, and the encroachment of the deck into the setback would not change the setback location.
All right, thank you very much. And then can you address the comment made regarding BAR and when it is required and when it is not?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Liu. BAR is required for most projects, but in this case, since it was considered a minor exterior alteration, it's exempted under Article 2. And usually if there's no square footage changes, it wouldn't be sent to design review. I would have to look into the previous projects and if they were sent to design review or not, but we wouldn't retroactively send a project to design review. So the exterior changes proposed, the door and window changes, and no exterior lighting fixtures would not be subject to design review.
Thank you very much, Ms. Brown. I don't have any further questions. Thank you for the public comment. Do we have any additional requests to speak, Mr. Martin?
We do
May I-
not have any.
May I respond to that?
That's not normally the procedure, but sure, I'll let you have another minute.
Okay, thank you. Just to be clear, the correspondence received from Montecito Water District did not address the easement or the water line. I don't believe they were aware that it was even part of the project. The question that was posed to the Montecito Water District, which is attached to the staff report, simply says, this project is not going to add any fixtures. Do you have, any purview over this? And they've said no, but they didn't realize perhaps the location and the proximity of the easement to the property.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bronsted.
Ms. Liu, I can add to that.
Yes, please.
So after the comment letter was received on Friday, I did reach out to the Montecito Water District and ask them if they had any concerns due to the location of the easement, and they responded on Friday and said they did not.
Thank you very much for that, Ms. Brown. I do have a question. Do you normally require these district easements to be shown on plans? Is that a normal process?
For a garage conversion, I mean, the typical site plan requirements, we would require easements, but the water line easement for a garage conversion, I wouldn't typically require that.
All right, thank you very much. All right, I don't have any further questions. Thank you very much. I'll go ahead and close out the public hearing for this, the public comment for this item. And I appreciate the comments made, and I appreciate Ms. Bronsted and Ms. Collins's letter. But based on the information before me and everything that I have, I will go ahead and make the required findings for this project as specified in Attachment A of the staff report dated September 23rd, 2022, including the CEQA findings. And I do determine that this project is exempt from CEQA pursuant to CEQA Guidelines Section 15303, included as Attachment C of the staff report dated September 23rd, 2022. And I approve this project case number 22 CDH 00015, subject to the conditions of approval included as Attachment B of the staff report dated September 23rd, 2022. Thank you for your work on this, Ms. Brown. I appreciate the thoroughness of your memo. And thank you very much, Ms. Wold, for being here. Ms. Bronstead, thank you. Mr. Martin, I believe that concludes our hearing for today.